Final update. On Christmas, I brought my family a certificate for a stay in a 5-star hotel in Hawaii. However, my mother threw it in the trash. "You're nothing," she said. "Even your gifts are worthless." I stayed silent, but the next day, I canceled their car loan. A week later, their car was repossessed. Part 3. The kind of place where a steak costs more than I used to make in a day. They invited me not because they missed me, but because they needed someone to split the check. I almost declined, but then I had an idea. I showed up 10 minutes late, not by accident, on purpose. Mom looked thrilled when I walked in, not because she was happy to see me, but because for a moment she thought I had come crawling back. "Jacob," she gasped, pressing a hand to her chest like she was seeing me for the first time in years. "I knew you wouldn't abandon your family forever." I forced a polite smile. "Happy Mother's Day." David and Matt exchanged glances. They knew something was off. We ordered food. They talked about their jobs, their investments, the struggle of finding good help. No one asked about me. Not once. Finally, the check arrived. Mom pushed it toward me like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Jacob," she said sweetly, "since you've been doing so well lately, why don't you cover this one?" I leaned back in my chair, studying their faces. David wouldn't make eye contact. Matt was smirking, like he was in on some inside joke. And Mom, she looked smug, like selling the house, cutting them off, and standing up for myself had been just a phase, and now I was back where I belonged, their wallet. I smiled, reached into my pocket, pulled out my card, then laughed loud enough that the table next to us turned to stare. Mom's smile faltered. "Jacob?" I wiped a fake tear from my eye, still grinning. "Oh, man. You really thought?" I shook my head. "No, Mom. I'm not paying." Silence. David looked shocked. Matt scowled. And Mom, her face twisted with rage. "But it's Mother's Day," she stammered. I picked up my napkin, dabbed my mouth, and stood. "Yeah, and I already got you a gift." "What?" she snapped. "Your independence." Then I walked out. Present day, a new life. I never spoke to them again. I blocked their numbers, moved to a new city, got a new job that paid more and gave me time to actually live. I took vacations, bought a car, opened a savings account just for me. For the first time ever, my money was mine, not Matt's, not David's, not Mom and Dad's. And them? Last I heard, Mom had to get a part-time job to cover rent. Dad sold his truck and now drove an old beater. David and Matt? They still made 6 figures, still went on vacations, but somehow, when they had to take care of Mom and Dad, suddenly their money wasn't so available anymore. Because rich people don't share. Flashback, the lesson I learned. I was 12 the first time I learned what being family really meant. Matt had a birthday coming up, and Mom wanted to get him a new gaming console, but money was tight. She sat me down in the kitchen. "Jacob," she said sweetly, "you love your brother, don't you?" I nodded. Of course I did. "Then you wouldn't mind giving up your allowance this month, right? So we can afford a gift for him." I hesitated. "But what about my birthday?" Mom laughed like it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. "Oh, sweetie," she said, ruffling my hair, "your birthday isn't as important as his." And that was the moment I realized, some people are born to take, and some people are born to give, unless they decide to change the rules. Final scene, 1 year later. I sat in my apartment, watching the sunset over the city. My phone buzzed, a new number. I hesitated, then answered. "Jacob?" It was Matt. I said nothing. He sighed. "Mom's been asking about you." I raised an eyebrow. Mom or her bank account? A long pause. I chuckled. "Yeah, that's what I thought." "Come on, man," he tried again. "It's been a year. Family is family." I thought about that for a second, then I smiled. "Not mine." I hung up. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Epilogue, the final blow. 2 weeks later, I got an email from my bank. The mortgage on Mom and Dad's rental was delinquent, meaning Matt and David weren't covering it like they said they would. Meaning they were the ones letting Mom and Dad struggle. Not me. Not the selfish one. I forwarded the email to Matt. No message, just the proof. Then I turned off my phone, leaned back, and enjoyed the peace of knowing that, for the first time ever, it wasn't my problem anymore.